Well, hello there, my lovelies. We're going to do the first real look at the garden for the first time this year. I've shown you a few things, but we're really going to look at it. I do have 2 rows of my electric fence up. Seems to be enough to deter the deer, so I'm going to leave it with that hope that it continues till I get finished. Now, I have never had a weed-free bed, so don't be surprised to see weeds. This is the asparagus. It goes on each side. Here's a nice big plant. I do have a tomato in here. It has a little tomato. It has plenty of blossoms. Asparagus loves tomatoes. The strawberries are still jamming. The onions are actually up. We're pulling them now. And this is blood meal that I put on for the rain. Here's another droopy, poor little sweetheart of a tomato plant that is really big. Sorry, but I'm not seeing any tomatoes. But I have asparagus jamming. I've got, these are some kind of striped tomatoes. I don't know. Looks kind of like a Roma tomato. I don't care. Everybody's having, ooh, that's wedged. Glad I touched it. And it's got more blooms. So these are tomatoes, strawberries, and onions. They all love each other. This is a squash, zucchini, or a pumpkin. We mixed up the cups. We don't know what we have. So there's 3 here, and apparently something dug that one out. Now this is the way I eventually want to have all of my beds. I'm going to heal them up like this. I'm going to start the lasagna bed process. Dirt. It'll be dirt or soil, whatever you want to call it. Straw, some more, some manure, then some more straw, and then soil on top. And then all you have to do every year is amend it. These are my sweet potatoes, 2 rows of them. This row was planted weeks before this row, but this row of plants came dead from gurneys. Then a couple of weeks later, I got my second batch that they didn't send the first time, and they were alive, so they're kind of equal at this point. These are pepper plants, and these are pepper plants. Different kinds of peppers. So they're at different growth spurts. Now the blood meal is going to disguise my beets. But in between the beets and, the weeds and the blood meal, there are beets growing. They are growing slow. I gave up on this row over here. The comfrey is jamming. I'm thrilled to death with that. Back here, I just, I told you, I was told I wasn't done. Keep planting potatoes. So I've planted potatoes in any little extra spot I could find. They go down here behind these peppers. And this is why I wanted to put bone sauce. Everything is looking horrible. It's turning yellow. Tomatoes were droopy. Here's my one little rhubarb. Still making it. We had to make a ditch. The state road brings their water down through my garden, and I couldn't get them to move it. These are red cabbage, and they're all mixed up. We didn't keep the cups separated. I had some marked, some not. I was so disgusted after I killed those 150 plus seedlings. So I just got these in the ground. They're looking better. So it's white cabbage, red cabbage, cauliflower, and broccoli. in this bed. And then down here is a squash. And I believe this little row is pumpkins. Now, this is the last 2 rows of potatoes that I planted. And you can see, now these were planted in May after the full moon, whatever date that was. So they've been in about a month and they're blooming. So look at these potatoes. They are just popping, looking beautiful. Let me go around this way. Now in April, 2 days after the full moon, see all my weeds? I don't have anything in here yet. So in April, 2 days after the full moon, I planted these potatoes. Now, if you're not familiar with a garden, you're going to think, oh my gosh, are they dying? They look so sad. No, they are not dying. Well, naturally, they are dying. It is time for them to die. Either this week or next week. I don't know. There's a, what kind of bloom is that? Oh, that's a briar bloom. These potatoes, probably in 2 weeks, these potatoes will be dug. These are the very first potatoes I planted. I think I showed you all these potatoes. These are the Purple Majesty potatoes that go out through here. This row is the Yukon Gold potatoes. And this row is the Pontiac Reds. So the soonest ones, the shortest grow day, are the Yukon Golds, then the Purple Majesties, then the red, Pontiac Red. Now, what I didn't know, you all, is the difference between a determinate and an indeterminate potato. I don't know. I've never planted different colored potatoes. So the difference, if you don't know, these potatoes, these 3 rows, are indeterminates, which mean they do not have to be healed. Whatever grows under the ground at that root potato is what grows. These potatoes I just showed you are the Kennebecks. Those are determinate potatoes. They will continue to root and grow up the stalk and grow potatoes, so they have to be healed. Hence, healing. I got tired of hoeing. We're using Miracle-Gro soil. So, these potatoes actually, since the back 2 rows went in, it was just a month ago, but some of them's looking pretty sad. Some of them up here on this end's looking pretty good. I doubt that these 2 rows right here will be dug until end of August, and let them keep growing. But these potatoes will be coming out within the next week or so. So for anybody that didn't know, and I came out here and healed these crazy potatoes with a hoe. Oh, Lord. And then I was watching Acre Homestead, and she told the difference between a determinate and indeterminate potato. I mean, I just think that's beautiful. Look at that. Doesn't a potato have a pretty little flower? Okay, enough of that. That's my craziness. Okay. Now, this is going to be planted in Pontiac Reds. I've got 40 pounds of Pontiac Reds, and we have enough of a grow season that we're going to do the rows here and put the Pontiac Reds in. These are onions that I lost and just planted last week, and they are, some of them, popping up. But these potatoes onions are to be planted 3 inches apart all the way around, and they make 1 pound potato, or 1 pound onions. So I'm real excited. I think there's about 60 onions in that little spot. Now we go down here along the electric fence. I've got to watch where I'm walking because I haven't weeded this part. You can tell the part I've got to. Okay, these are just anywhere and everywhere I could get a seed. These are green beans. Let me walk over here. So the green beans are just dotted along here. You don't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be perfect. And if there's a weed, I'm telling you, the green beans, let's see, go on around, there's the last green bean. So there's 3 rows of green beans. Then here's a pitiful little tomato. I do not know what the deal. Look at this. My basil. Now, it kind of looks bad because I plucked the top so it doesn't bolt. But, you know, here's a pepper. It's not producing any peppers. Actually, it has rolling leaves. So, I ran out of the blood meal. I'll have to get more, and hopefully the nitrogen will help. That little pitiful plant is producing a tomato. There's a little tomato. This one is producing a little tomato. Here's another pepper plant. I just put basil and tomatoes and peppers all through this area. I've got a tomato plant somewhere that's got just a ton of little tomatoes on it. Here's where, if you want your basil not to bolt, you just go, you know, it's just right at the bottom, like one of these. Only it was at the top, and I just plucked it off. And that stops it from bolting, and you can get more bang for your buck out of your basil. And there's a nice little tomato. Yes, I need to stake them, but it's either 100 degrees or it's 74 degrees. But see, it doesn't hurt. Look, there's weeds. There's weeds, y'all. Weeds does not kill a garden. I'm here to tell you. There's not a thing in the world. I don't know what this stuff is. It looks like green beans, but it's not. But the green beans do come up this fence a little bit. But anyway, here's the garden. It's not beautiful, but it is going to produce a ton of food. Like I said, I still have enough time to get these Pontiac Reds in the ground. If I dig those potatoes up here, I may just put them in those rows because those rows are ready. These rows are not ready and need a lot of weeding. But I still have plenty of room for a lot of vegetables to go in next year, a lot of herbs to go in. My big focus this year, Ethan wants cabbage and he loves sauerkraut. And, of course, the strawberries and the asparagus I wanted to get started. But this year, potatoes is my main focus. And next year, I'll have, but you know, it's just me and Ethan. So this is about all I can do myself, y'all. Just to be perfectly honest with you. But I just wanted you to see the garden and let you know what's going on with it. I wish I could find that tomato plant. Let y'all see all these little babies growing on it, but I can't seem to find where I found that. So anyway, I hope y'all are planting a garden. I love you, and I will be seeing you soon. Always remember, don't be scared, just be prepared. I hope you're planting, even if it's in 5-gallon buckets. Love y'all. Bye-bye.